Hi there, welcome. In this video, I want to offer a suggestion for anyone who has ever felt like their therapy, healing process, or inner work tends to feel a little bit aimless, like you're talking and reflecting and understanding yourself more intellectually, but you're not entirely sure where all of it's actually going. This video is part of a series about the private inner work space, what it is, what to expect, and how to get the most out of it. If you'd like to be notified when new videos are released, you can subscribe below. If you don't know me, I'm Julia Friedal. I help people transform unhelpful coping strategies at the root so they can build lives, relationships, and experiences that are aligned with who they more deeply are or who they are now. My work draws on Buddhist teachings, Western psychology, and nature-based traditions, and I've been guiding people through the inner world for about 15 years. So one thing I hear fairly often from people, especially people who've spent time in more traditional talk therapy, is that the work can sometimes feel a little directionless, that it can be hard to feel a sense of progress. And honestly, I agree with that critique. A person can spend years understanding why they react the way they do, why they struggle in relationships, why they overfunction, people please, shut down, avoid conflict, right, or become defensive. But without a relatively clear understanding of what they're actually trying to cultivate internally, the process can feel like endlessly analyzing the same material. That's why in my work, we always establish what I call inner work aspirations. So, inner work aspirations are essentially emotional and psychological qualities that a person wants to grow into. They aren't performance goals or productivity goals or manifestation goals. They're deeper, orienting intentions for who you want to become on the inside and how you want to walk through the world. These aspirations give shape to the work and serve as reminders about why you chose to invest in inner work. So I want to share with you some examples of aspirations that I've worked through with my students, just to give you some ideas. And there's quite a few of them because I'm hoping that some of them will inspire you or make clear for you what you're looking for. So one aspiration has been, I want to feel comfortable honoring what I need and what's right for me, even if it's different from others. Instead of reacting with anger to things that I don't like, I want to respond in ways that have space, trust, and curiosity. I want to strengthen and trust my intuition. I want to learn to be okay with being wrong without getting defensive or collapsing into shame. I want to process and resolve my feelings of regret over past decisions. I want to reclaim the non-parenting aspects of my life to have fun and experience joy outside of my parenting role. I want to individuate, which is to know who I am, what I like, and what I have to give. I want to be less afraid to speak my truth. I want to care for myself as well as I care for other people. I want to feel more safe and at peace amidst conflict, disagreement, and misunderstandings. I want to stop apologizing for things I'm not responsible for. I want to learn to set better internal and external boundaries. I want to forgive my mother and learn to love her for who she is. I want to be less judgmental and controlling. I want to soften my inner critic and let myself take more chances in life. I want to be able to recognize and celebrate my progress and accomplishments. I want to learn how to forgive myself and others. I want to let go of the impossible wish for perfection, a strategy I've used to avoid being misunderstood. I want to understand how to contribute to my frequent experience of not feeling seen or heard. In my marriage, I want to be softer and stop fighting. I want to be more led by the truth in my heart and less from the fears in my mind. So that's just a small handful of the aspirations I've helped people work toward. And these are all achievable aspirations. So we typically spend a session or two getting really clear about what a person's aspirations are. That work alone is actually quite valuable and clarifying. And then as we work together, the aspirations mostly sit in the background, but they become useful in a few different ways along our way. One is if a person comes to a session and isn't sure what to talk about, if we simply refer to their aspirations, it usually prompts a valuable conversation. And then it's also beneficial because, most psychological growth is quite subtle and gradual, which I've spoken to in another video. And that can make it difficult to notice just how much progress you're actually making. So when we look back at the aspirations, let's say 6 months later, it's usually quite a nice moment because a student will suddenly realize just how much they've grown and changed and how worthwhile their hard work has been. Honestly, those moments are so wonderful and inspiring. A person suddenly realizes, oh, I actually am a lot less defensive, or, I'm speaking for my own needs a lot more, or I do trust myself more now. I'm no longer abandoning myself in the same ways, or wow, that's not even a thing anymore. I forgot it ever was. And they realize that the work has truly been changing them from the inside out, and it's a really beautiful moment. Typically, we revisit aspirations every 6 months or so, although it really depends on the person and what we're working on together. Sometimes aspirations evolve, right? When we write the next batch, we might just sort of tweak one, or we might check it all the way off the list. Sometimes what was once a central coping strategy disappears altogether. And sometimes entirely new desires and dreams begin to emerge in the space created by the removal of the old coping strategies. So, if your therapy or inner work has been feeling a little aimless, you might spend some time getting clear on what it is exactly that you'd like to change. How would you like to feel differently? What's your vision for how you would like to relate to others? What values do you want to orient your life around? What are the ingrained patterns or habits you want to break? What are the new habits you want to instill? These are the types of questions you can ask yourself to get clear on why you are choosing to do your therapy or inner work and how to recognize the progress that you make. And as you may know, if you're working with me, I do help you figure out what those deeper aspirations actually are. So I hope that's helpful. And again, if you'd like to be notified when I share new videos, please be sure to subscribe below. Thank you so much for being here.